Hello learners, welcome back to my channel Shraddha's Physics. In this lecture, we will discuss on the classical theory of electronic polarizability. Let us begin with our topic, classical theory of electronic polarizability. The polarizability arises due to the relative displacement of the nucleus and the electrons within the same atom is called the electronic polarizability. So in case of unpolarized atom, you can see here, this is suppose here the nucleus, and these are suppose some electrons, that is your suppose cloud of electron, they are symmetrically distributed throughout the atom. So now in this case you can see here there will be no displacement between the nucleus and the electron. Now suppose for example if I will say, suppose this is your nucleus, that is this plus one, it is your the nucleus, and the electrons are somehow now present at this point. So we can say that in this case the relative displacement of the nucleus and electron occur. So this is the case for the polarized atom. That is, in case of the unpolarized atom, the relative displacement between the nucleus and the electron is 0, and in case of the polarized atom there will be a relative displacement between the nucleus and the electrons. That is, it is within the same atom, that is in a particular atom, that is in a same atom. So the nucleus and the electron, the separation is occur. So the individual atoms in a molecule are themselves polarized when an electric field is applied. So when you apply some electric field, we have already discussed in this topic, that is when you apply the electric field, then the negative charge, they will move in the opposite direction to the field applied, and the positive, that is your nucleus here, it will be present at this point, or you can say that the positive charge, they will move in the direction of the field applied, and the negative charge, they will move in the direction opposite to that of the electric field that is applied. Okay, now the electrons in its various cells, they are displaced relative to the nucleus, and thus it produces an electric dipole moment, and it gives rise to the electronic polarizability, and it occurs in every atom in the crystal. So because of this charge separation, there will be a dipole moment occur. Due to this development of the electric dipole moment, it gives rise to the electronic polarizability. Now to evaluate electronic polarizability, we can predict that the restoring force on the electron cloud when it is displaced from the normal configuration about the nucleus, it is proportional to the displacement. That is, the restoring force is directly proportional to the displacement. So this system can be approximated with a harmonic oscillator. So the equation of motion of an electron bound harmonically to one atom in an oscillating field, that is E naught exponential j omega t. J means this is your minus 1 root over, that is your iota basically. Here I am representing this by j symbol. So this is E naught exponential j omega t, that is an oscillating field. So we can write the equation of motion of an electron will be equal to, for an harmonic oscillator, this will be m d square x by dt square plus m gamma dx by dt plus m omega naught square x, that will be equal to E naught, this is your small e naught exponential j omega t. A non-homogeneous equation will be found. So here in this case, m represents the mass of the electron, E represents the charge on an electron, omega naught represents the natural frequency of oscillation of the electron, omega represents the frequency of the applied field, and gamma represents the damping effect. And its value is this damping effect, this gamma equal to mu naught E square omega naught square divided by 6 pi mc, where mu naught value is 1.257 into 10 power minus 6, and the value of C is 2.9979, or this is your simply 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Now for this equation, if I will write directly the solution to this equation 1, so the solution will be x equal to x naught exponential j omega t. This is the solution of that equation. Now if I will take the derivative, that is the first order derivative with respect to t, dx by dt will be equal to, this is your x naught j omega into exponential j omega t, because the derivative of exponential j omega t is itself exponential j omega t. Again the derivative of j omega t will be j omega. Now here also I can put, this will be equal to j omega into this x naught into exponential j omega t, it will again give your x. So in this place I will simply write j omega into x. Okay. Now I will calculate d square x divided by dt square. So if I will take the second derivative for this, then this will be equal to again x naught j omega whole square into exponential j omega t. Okay, because these are your constant term written as it is, only x naught j omega, and here if I take the derivative of exponential j omega t, this will be exponential j omega t into j omega, so this will be j omega whole square. Now you know the value of j equal to minus 1 root over, this one is your imaginary number. So if I take the j square, then this will be minus 1 root over square, that will be equal to minus 1. So now if I substitute this value here, this will be equal to minus, this will be x naught omega square exponential j omega t. Now again if you will compare this x equal to x naught exponential j omega t, if I will substitute this value here, then this will be equal to minus omega square into x. Okay. Now if I substitute this value, this is your equation 1, or this is suppose equation 2. Suppose if I will put this equation 1 and 2 in the main equation, this is your, let me write, this is your equation 2, equation 3, that is your equation 1. Now that equation will be, you can see here, the equation is in the form m d square x by dt square plus m gamma dx by dt plus m omega naught square x equal to e naught exponential j omega t. Let me write the equation again. This will be m d square x divided by dt square plus m gamma dx by dt plus m omega naught square x, that is equal to small e, that is the charge, into e naught, the electric field, into exponential j omega t. Okay. Now if I substitute this value, you can see here the d square x by dt square, I can write this is equal to, that implies I can write this is m into d square x by dt square is your minus omega square x. So I can write this will be minus m omega square into x. Okay. Plus this is your m gamma plus m gamma dx by dt, the value of dx by dt is your j omega x, this value is your j omega x. Now here I will write this will be j omega x plus this will be m omega naught square, the value of x is your x, because in this term everywhere the present x, so simply I have to write x. Okay. So this will be equal to e naught exponential j omega t. Okay. Now if I take common mx, then for the first term this will be minus omega square, for the second term this will be j omega and gamma, for the third term this will be plus, this will be omega naught square, and that will be equal to e naught exponential j omega t. Okay. Now what I will do, I will calculate the value of x. So x will be equal to, this will be your e by m into, this is your e naught exponential j omega t. This m term is divided here, so x will be equal to this e naught exponential j omega t, and e is written here small e, divided by this total bracketed term, that is your, let me write, this is your first omega naught square, this is one is your positive sign, minus omega square, then this will be plus j omega and gamma. Okay. So this j is nothing but your root over of minus 1. But the electronic polarizability can be written as electronic polarizability expression electronic polarizability can be written as alpha E equal to, suppose the symbol is alpha, that is E for the electronic, so alpha E will be equal to, this is simply Ex divided by E naught exponential j omega t. Okay, this is the expression for the electronic polarizability. Now if I substitute the value of x here, this is suppose equation 4. Now if I substitute this value, then this will becomes, let me write, in place of x I have to substitute, this will be E divided by E naught exponential j omega t into, in place of x I will write, this will be E by m into E naught exponential j omega t into this, divided by this total bracketed term. This total bracketed term I have to write here. So here you can see this E naught exponential j omega t. This is your E naught exponential j omega t. So this term, they will get cancelled. So they will get cancelled. So the remaining term will be equal to, I can write, this alpha E will be equal to E square divided by m into 1 divided by this total bracketed term I have to write, omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega gamma. So this is omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega and gamma. This is nothing but your electronic polarizability. So this is the required expression for the electronic polarizability. So here, right, this is the required expression for the electronic polarizability. Electronic polarizability. Okay. So that is E square by m into 1 by omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega and gamma. Now if I will calculate the dielectric constant, suppose let me write, the complex dielectric constant, here can be written as the complex dielectric constant, that is epsilon r of omega, that is a function of omega, that is equal to 1 plus the susceptibility chi e. This is the electric susceptibility. Okay. So now you know, since, let me write on the right hand side, since you know this chi e is directly proportional to, this is your directly proportional to the electronic polarizability. So here also I can write, therefore this chi e will be equal to some proportionality constant n, suppose n to alpha e, where this n equal to, this n, that is the capital N equal to proportionality constant, and it is also known as, this is equal to the number of electrons per unit volume. This is the n. Now if I write it here, this chi e will be equal to, since this chi e equal to n into alpha e, here we have calculated the value of alpha e. So now if I write it here, that will be chi e equal to n into e square, this is your n into e square divided by m into omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega gamma. Is that clear? So here you can see this chi e, you know, this chi e equal to n into alpha e. This chi e equal to n into alpha e. Simply I have substituted the value of electronic polarizability, that is the alpha e value. Now if I substitute this value in this part, that is the dielectric constant, now I can write this epsilon r will be equal to 1 plus this term. So I can write epsilon r will be equal to epsilon r of omega, that will be equal to 1 plus n square divided by m whole into omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega into gamma. Since it is a complex number, so I have to multiply its complex conjugate in the denominator and numerator. If I will consider this one, this part is your real part and this omega gamma is your imaginary part. So now I can write this is equal to 1 plus ne square divided by m into, I will write this is 1 by omega naught square minus omega square plus j omega gamma term. So for this expression I have to multiply one term, that is your, in the denominator and numerator I have to multiply, this is your omega naught square minus omega square. The conjugate will be this one is plus, so simply I have to multiply, this is minus j omega gamma, and the same term I have to divide, that will be omega naught square minus omega square minus j omega gamma, this whole bracket. Okay, now in this part, just like this is your, just like in the form of x plus iy, so you have, so this is your 1 by x plus iy, so you have to simply multiply x minus iy, and here also x minus iy. So when you multiply x plus iy with the x minus iy, this will be simply x square plus y square. This is simply x square plus y square, because I square will be minus 1. So x square minus of minus y square, that will be x square plus y square. So simply I have to substitute this value in that expression. Then now this expression will becomes, this is equal to 1 plus, this is ne square divided by m. Here will be, if I will directly write the real part and the imaginary part separately, this will be omega naught square minus omega square divided by omega naught square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma square, omega square into gamma square. This one is your real part, and similarly for the imaginary part, that is your minus j omega gamma is present here. So this will be minus j, and here also ne square by m term I have to multiply, this term ne square by m. This is your ne square divided by m is multiplied here, and this one is your omega gamma divided by omega naught square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma square, omega square into gamma square. So this is nothing but your epsilon r of omega. Now these two expressions, so let me write this as, this is equal to 1 plus epsilon r prime of omega, and the next term, that is minus j epsilon r double prime of omega. Okay, so what is this two term represent? So the first term, that is epsilon r prime omega here, where epsilon r prime omega, its value equal to, you may see here, so this is equal to ne square divided by m into omega naught square minus omega square divided by, this is your omega naught square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma square. And this gives, this epsilon r prime omega, it gives the value of the dielectric constant. It gives, let me write here, it gives the value of dielectric constant, value of dielectric constant. Now we will see for the next term, that is epsilon r double prime omega, and epsilon r double prime of omega, that will be equal to, from this expression, let me write it here again, this will be ne square by m omega gamma divided by this bracketed term. So this will be equal to the same expression, that is ne square divided by m, simply I have to multiply omega into gamma divided by the bracketed term, that is omega square minus omega square whole square plus omega square gamma square. Okay, and this represents, this gives, let me write, this gives the information about, this gives the information about the damping loss, about damping losses, damping losses. So from this expression you can see the two value, that is your epsilon r prime omega, and this is your epsilon r double prime of omega. One gives your dielectric constant and another term that will gives the damping losses. Okay. Now if you plot the curve between the omega and the epsilon r prime and also your omega versus epsilon r double prime, so the graph will be represented like this. That is, in the this first curve, this epsilon r prime, it has the maximum value at this point, that is omega equal to omega naught. That is, it absorbs energy at the natural frequency. So this is your at this point. So this is the maximum value at the epsilon r prime. It has the maximum value at this point, that omega naught. It represents that at this point, that is at this omega naught, it absorbs the maximum energy at this natural frequency, and this phenomenon is called as the resonance absorption. And similarly, in the next graph, this epsilon r double prime, it is strongly frequency dependent, and the susceptibility, it undergoes a change in the sign in this region, and this phenomenon is called as the anomalous dispersion. Since the detail is not in your syllabus, so up to this much, just try to remember that in the dielectric constant, that is in epsilon r of omega, there will be the two term. One will represent the dielectric constant and another will give the damping loss information. So when this epsilon r prime curve, if you will plot a graph between epsilon r prime and omega, so in this case the maximum value at this omega equal to omega naught, that represents that it absorbs the energy at this frequency, that is the maximum value represents it absorbs the energy at the natural frequency, and this phenomenon is called the resonance absorption. And the second case, that is if you will plot the graph between the epsilon r double prime and the omega, then in that case it is strongly frequency dependent. It means that it will depend on the frequency, and its susceptibility, it all undergoes a change in the sign in that region. So that is called your anomalous dispersion. So this is all about your classical theory of the electronic polarizability. So if you have any doubt, can ask me in the comment section. Thank you all.